Hey everybody, welcome to Southern gmoregals. Our channel has budget-friendly DIYs and thrift flips that are all simple and easy to make. In my video today, I have two Valentine's Day wreaths that are easy and inexpensive. If you're new here, I'm Elizabeth. I want to welcome you here to my channel, and if you're returning, welcome back. I'm going to start off with my mesh wreath, and this is really the classic colors I think of for Valentine's Day. We're going to be using a red, a white, and just a little bit of pink in here. And everything to make this wreath came from the Dollartree or the Dollar General. So this is a nice high-end look, but on, really making it cheaper or on a budget. So I'm all about saving some money. I'm not going to pay $75 or $50 to make a wreath, but I want that same look. So we're going to show it how to make it simple, but also affordable. Now for this wreath, you'll probably want to have red pipe cleaners, and I just purchased that multicolored pack there from the Dollar Tree. I cut these in 4 pieces. You may just want to cut them in half, might make it a little bit simpler, so you would need 2 of the pipe cleaner packs because I used all of the red when I cut them in 4s, but it would have made it probably a little faster or a little easier if I would have just cut the pipe cleaners in half instead of in 4 pieces. And this is really simple. All I'm doing is going around those middle pieces and making a twist here. And for my spacing, I just used one of the pipe cleaners and spaced them about that far apart. And then once I went around that middle row, I'm going to go around the outside row. And I'm trying to put this pipe cleaner in between the other ones that I already have. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the inside wire row too. So we'll end up having 3 different rows of the pipe cleaners going around my wreath. And you can always just do a row and then put your ribbon and come back and make another row of the pipe cleaners. Sometimes it's a little hard to see though once you start getting the ribbon on there, but sometimes it's easier too to be able to fill in so you know exactly where you want it. And what I'm going to use here is I have this mesh type ribbon that I found from the Dollar Tree. It's almost like a confetti look, and some of that white will kind of sprinkle off. It's almost like glitter, but it doesn't have that glitter kind of color, but some of those little pieces I noticed will kind of sprinkle off as you're working with it. And all I'm going to do is this, I'm using 2 layers of this, so I bought 2 pieces of it, and you'll want to kind of gather them there together. And this confetti row, I'm going to put down the center of my wreath. And I really love this confetti print when I saw it in the store. They also have this, I think they actually had 2 pink shades. I think they have a really, really pale light pink. And then I think they may have a fuchsia pink that has this confetti look. But I really love the red. So, look for those other shades if you're more of a pink girl than a red girl. And I had to replace, I think, one of those little pipe cleaners. There's a darker one, but we're going to cover it up. So, if you have to use purple or green or something, pipe cleaners, then you'll just have to try to fill in a little bit more to cover that up. Next, I'm going to go around the outside row and the inside row. This is some red tulle that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. It does have a little bit of a glittery type effect on here, so I'm going to just do the same thing. I'm going to use 2 layers, and then I'm just going to bunch a little piece together and twist it around the pipe cleaner, and I'm going to work my way all around the outside of the wreath, and then we're going to work our way around the inside of the wreath. And this is just a shot where I finished. That's the outside. I had just a little bit of it left there hanging. So I have 2 new rolls that I'm going to use around the inside. So I'm going to, again, use 2 layers of that red tulle. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of bunch it up here. I'm going to tie it on with a pipe cleaner, make a little bunch, and go to my next pipe cleaner. And just making a really simple twist with the pipe cleaner is all you have to do to just get it nice and secure there. And we're going to go around later. You may have to tuck some of the pipe cleaner in, especially if you cut the pipe cleaner in half instead of in 4s and you have a little bit of that left over or kind of hanging. You can either clip it off or kind of tuck it around the back of the wreath. And looking at the video here, I feel like it's really coming together here. The colors look awesome together. I love the way this red looks with that confetti red and white in the center. So we're almost finished here. I'm going to completely go around the center. I want my wreath to be a little bit fuller, so this is just some of the ribbon I have left. I'm taking 1 row of the confetti and then 1 layer of the tulle and stacking these on top of one another. I'm going to go to the inside pipe cleaners on that inside row, and we're just going to make a little twist here, gather it together, make a little twist around with your pipe cleaner, and then we're going to kind of go diagonal all the way across that middle row into the outside pipe cleaner, and then I'm going to make a little twist and twist that into the pipe cleaner and cut that off, so to leave it with a little bit of fringe on the inside and a little bit of fringe on the outside, and that'll really give your wreath a nice full look. And I'm just going to work my way all around the wreath doing this. And I noticed a couple times when you're going diagonal, sometimes I had to use that same inside or the same center pipe cleaner and then go like to the right of it and to the left of it. So sometimes two of these pieces were tied in the same inside or the same center, so they could go across to the one side on the right and one side on the left. And you'll see that here where I do that a couple times just to make sure all of those pieces are filled in. And this is really simple and really easy. I think with the speed moving a little faster, sometimes it might make it look a little intimidating, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to let you see the complete process, but not where you have to watch it for 30 minutes or so while I'm doing it. So don't be intimidated by this. It's really easy. These colors look great together. So here you can see where I twisted two there on that inside part, and I'm going across to the outside on two different pipe cleaners, but they're both attached to the same pipe cleaner on the inside, just because that inside circle is a little bit smaller, so there's not as many pipe cleaners on that inside circle as there are on the outside. So you'll have to double those up some, and you'll be using it twice. That's why I say that if you cut the pipe cleaners in half, you'll have a lot more room than where I did these in a quarter. So it was a little tight there getting them all twisted. Now this little sign I purchased at the Dollar Tree. I just used some wood putty to fill up those two holes that are in the top, and I'm just going to paint that. And then this ribbon, I actually found this at a thrift store. I only paid 50 cents for it, but it looks like Dollar General ribbon. It looks like the same label, and it has a lot of love and some little different hearts in red. So this is what I'm going to use to make my bow. And when I learned to make bows, I just twist them in the back most of the time. This is the way I pretty much learned how to do it, and it's really the same process as if you were laying it down and folding it. So I just twist it in the back there. I'm going to take some floral wire and then twist all this together, and then with the wire I can just twist it and attach it right to the base of the wire on the wreath. Now we're going to attach our sign, and I just painted the lettering. This is a bright white, and then I painted like a fuchsia or a bright pink on the back side of the hearts there, and then the front little hearts that are standing out more, I used a red. Now if you do use an acrylic paint and you're going to put your wreath outside, you'll need to get some like clear spray paint or some kind of sealant if you're just using an acrylic paint, because that may wash off if it rains. So just keep that in mind. If not, if you have some other paints that can withstand weather and rain, then you won't have to do that sealant. But if it's like the apple barrel paints and stuff, those will need some type of a clear spray paint or some kind of sealant on top of those. And to attach my sign, I'm just using some clear zip ties. I'm going to use two. I'm going to attach one on each side here, and all I'm doing is looping into the base of my wreath. I just looped around that. You want to be sure you spin the little hook around to the back part before you clip that off. And I didn't make this super tight because it'll mash your wreath down too much. So just so you get it nice and snug is all you need to do. And then once we get both of these attached on here, I'm going to go back and paint the clear zip tie just to match that bright white. And we're almost done here. This is so simple but looks so festive. I think we're going to attach our bow here at the top. All I'm going to do is twist that floral wire into the wreath wire there, and then I'm going to take a little wooden heart and I'm going to glue that into the center of my bow. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about these wreaths, if they look simple and easy to make. I hope I'm making them look simple for you to do. I try to respond to all my comments. It might take me a couple days, but I'll definitely try to give you a response, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. And I'm just taking a little white paint here, and I'm painting over that clear zip tie on both sides. And I've got a little couple wooden hearts that came from the Dollar Tree, and this one was already red. It had the little kind of foamy sticker thing on the back, so I just took that off, that little piece there that was stuck to it. I just took that off, and I'm going to use my glue gun and hot glue this right to the center. And I thought one was enough. It does have a couple little pink hearts or some little wooden plain hearts on the same sheet, so you could put a couple around here, but I thought one was enough, just right in the center. And if you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And if you're already a subscriber, I want to say thanks so much for supporting our channel. I really appreciate it. And here's my final reveal, and this looks stunning. I love these classic colors. That white really pops inside that red. I think it really turned out beautiful. I don't think you'd really know that this is from the Dollar Tree unless you shop there and have seen some of these items in there. So I hope I inspire you to make your own wreath and not go out and pay a lot of money for wreaths that are already made when you can do them yourself. This didn't take that long to do. Really letting the paint dry was probably the longest process there after painting the inside sign. So we're going to move on to our next wreath. So thinking about some New Year resolutions. So of course, I have those. I want to lose weight, probably just like everybody, and would love to save some money. But besides that, I really like to make wreaths, and I kind of got away from that a little bit. So I want to try to at least have some monthly wreaths. I like doing thrift flips, so I'm hoping I can find some wreaths that I can flip around too. So if you like that kind of thing, I hope you'll subscribe and continue to watch. But this wreath form is from the Dollar Tree. They have at least two different wire heart-shaped wreath forms. There is a taller one, and this is kind of the shorter, wider one or fatter wreath form that I'm using here. I'm going to do basically the same process, but for these pipe cleaners, I'm only going to cut these in half. So these are longer. That way it'll give me a little bit more room to add some extra ribbon in here, and then you can always trim them down, or you can spin them around backwards and hide these. So the ribbon I'm going to use for this wreath, I found this beautiful ribbon at the Dollar General, and I guess this was Christmas ribbon because this was marked half off. It was only $1.50, and I was really surprised. It's really a pretty ribbon. It looks kind of country looking or farmhouse looking to me, but it could also be for Valentine's Day with the red in here. So this is the ribbon that I'm going to use. And the first time I went through this wreath, I put the ribbon on here first, and I didn't like the way it looked with the ribbon on here first. So I found this burlap ribbon. I actually got this from a local craft store, and it was like $3.50. You can get something similar to this though at Walmart, and this is really a nice wide burlap ribbon, and there is a lot of ribbon on this roll, so I have enough to at least do 2 wreaths with that roll. And all I'm going to do is I'm cutting these little squares about the length of that little popsicle stick, and just kind of squeezing this together, or almost making like a little bow tie is what I think it looks like. And I'm just going to twist these around. I'm going to go all the way around my wreath with the little burlap bow ties, and then we're going to add some pipe cleaners in between the bow ties, and we'll put the ribbon in between there. We'll loop a piece of ribbon on the bow ties and on the piece that's in between there. So you'll see a very simple and easy to do, but the burlap really gives you that nice kind of farmhouse neutral tone, or kind of a country type look for your wreath. And once I get all the way around the heart here with the little bow ties, you're going to see me take the pipe cleaners again, and these are just some of the pipe cleaners cut in half, a half of a piece here, and I'm going to twist this in place in between the bow ties. I'm going to go all the way around the wreath, so I'm going to add an extra pipe cleaner in between each of those little bow tied burlap pieces of ribbon. And once you've added those extra pipe cleaners in between your little bow tie pieces, I'm just going to take the ribbon now and just kind of bunch it together or squeeze it together here and make a little, a little loop there, or a little kind of bend in the ribbon to make your little hoop here on your wreath. And I'm going to go across each pipe cleaner. So I'm going to attach it to the pipe cleaner that's in between the bow ties. And then I'm also going to make a little hoop or a little loop there on the pipe cleaners that are on the little burlap bow tie. So you'll have, this will be really tight in here. You'll have lots of the ribbon, and we want the ribbon to show through here, and we want the burlap to kind of be on each side, kind of like the ribbon is running in between the burlap. And my wreath worked out really good. I think the last hoop here, or the last two like pipe cleaners at the end. I ran out of the ribbon, but that's okay because it's going to be down at the bottom, and that's where we're going to put our bow. So it worked out really good. I wish they would have had some more ribbon because I definitely would have bought some more, but that was the only roll that they had. So I'm going to use this little birdhouse. I purchased that from the Dollar Tree. I like this one because it has a little heart on it for Valentine's Day. All I'm going to do is paint the little birdhouse, and we're going to attach him later. But now I'm going to go back. Once I finish that part, I wanted a little bit more burlap. So all I'm going to do is I cut a couple more of the squares. I'm not going to put as many as I put in the background. We're just going to go like every 2 pieces. I'm going to attach one of the little burlap squares in between there just to give it a little bit more filled in there. And that will help cover up some of the pipe cleaners too. And this is the same process that I did before. I'm not adding a new pipe cleaner here. I'm just using the ones that are already on here. I'm untwisting it there. I'm adding the little bunch of the burlap ribbon, the little bow tie in here, and then twisting it back. So you can see that my pipe cleaner is getting much shorter now since we've looped a couple pieces of ribbon through there. And I'm just going to twist that around into the back, or you could even cut off some of the end too and just folding these over to make sure that it overlaps and covers up all those little pipe cleaners. And here's my wreath here, and you can see down there in the front there were a couple little pipe cleaners where I ran out of ribbon, but I wasn't sure if I needed that to attach anything else, so I just have those there right now. I'm actually going to cut those down here after I get my bow on because I ended up not needing those there. But I just made a bow out of that burlap ribbon, and you could see on the previous wreath how I made my bow. I just make a loop and then twist it in the back, and I just use some floral wire. I'm going to attach it to the top part of the heart, though. I want the very top one, not the bottom one, or it hangs down a little bit low. So you want to get up around the top part of the heart and twist your floral wire into that. And then you're going to see the struggle is for real here because I was trying to trim these down on the end here, and I trimmed them just a little shorter than maybe I probably should have, but I like the way that it looked when I got finished. And that ribbon, the burlap ribbon, is a nice large size, so it really fills in the bottom of the wreath here. Makes it have a nice big statement there down at the bottom, but blends in really good. So we're going to attach our birdhouse next, and then just do a couple little raffia pieces and then a couple little berries. So we've almost got our wreath completed. And I like using clear zip ties because they usually blend in well enough, but then you can go back and paint them whatever shade of the item that you're attaching it with. The first one was a little bit short though that I tried to use, so I went back to get a longer one. And I didn't film where I painted my birdhouse. I figured that you might get a little bored with just watching me paint. So for the front of my birdhouse is a barn door red. I used some antique wax on the front of the red, or went over the red a little bit just to give it more of a rustic look. The top part of the roof is the Waverly antique wax, and then the trim is an ivory shade, and then like the bottom base of the birdhouse is the elephant gray. So it's got a couple different little colors there, and you can see here I'm just going to attach it with the zip tie. I really like using zip ties on wreaths because that will get things in place really tightly and snug for you. And I don't really feel like you have to worry about them coming off with the zip ties. I think it holds things in place really good. You just have to be sure once you start getting it tight to twist the hook there or the large piece around towards the back. And then you can trim that down a little bit. And then I'm going to take my bow and kind of fill back up over top of it. And this wreath is really coming together just the way I wanted it to. I wanted it to have that farmhouse look or kind of a country vibe for Valentine's Day, but kind of that rustic look too, or outdoorsy look. So I think the birdhouse really added a nice statement piece in here. I had this 3-pack of raffia left from Christmas that I didn't use, so I wanted to use that. I thought the neutral color or the kind of the brown shade and the red would be really good. I used about 3 strips of the neutral there to 1 piece of the red because I just wanted a little bit of the red. And I'm just going to make 2 double knots here, and I'm going to glue this on right in the bottom base of the birdhouse here. And then I'm going to also make a bow here that I'm going to glue onto the front. And it's so funny that one of my daughters One of them likes this wreath and she doesn't like the red one, but my other daughter likes the red one and doesn't like this one. So yeah, everybody has a little bit of a different taste. So I think these are kind of those two different extremes. Either you like those really classic Valentine shades, or you like more of the neutral kind of farmhouse rustic looks. They both go good, both go great. You can put one on the front door, one on maybe a carport door or garage door. So here I'm going to take a little bit more of the raffia, several more pieces, maybe like 3 pieces of the neutral to just 1 piece of the red, and I'm going to make a bow. So just a big bow here, and this is really easy to work with, and one good thing about this is it kind of curls up a little bit on its own. You don't really have to do anything else to it. So just a nice bow here. I'm going to use my glue gun and glue this on right over top, or kind of maybe slightly to the side of where I made that knot. And then I'm going to trim down. Some of it was hanging down just a little bit longer than I wanted it, so I'm going to trim that off just a little bit, and stay tuned for the final reveal here. And I about forgot about my berries here. So I about left these off here on the video, but these, I think I got these from Walmart. I've used some of these in my Christmas DIYs. I'm just cutting 3 of the little pieces here. I'm going to hot glue these down, 1 on each side of the birdhouse. I only ended up using 2 of these. So just 1 on each side, just to add a little bit more of that red. And here's my final reveal. Now, I love working outside in the garden and outdoors, and this really kind of gives me that kind of vibe about like the garden and outdoorsy rustic type vibe. So I really like this one. The birdhouse, I think, really ties into that. If you have somebody that really likes working outdoors, I think they'll love this wreath. And these are both simple, easy designs. Gives you a high-end look, but not for that high-end price. And this was really quick and easy to do. Didn't take me a long time. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to thank everybody for watching. If you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. Thanks, everybody. Hope y'all have a wonderful Valentine's Day.